Yeah, notice nobody has a lawn. At one point, everybody was fine. There's enough water for the farms, there's enough water for the homes. The farmers, they weren't using their own wells because they were getting water allocated to them through the canals through the state. But since the drought, all that water is, it's not available to them anymore. So now they're starting to use their own wells. And it seems like when they do that, now the houses around them are starting to go dry.
Chris is a water hauler, hired to truck in portable water to hundreds in the San Joaquin Valley. She works for Self-Help Enterprises, an NGO that provides emergency water services to residents whose wells are failing them. In 2021, 973 residential wells came up dry throughout California. Just 85 did the year before. Most of these wells are in the heart of the San Joaquin Valley, one of the world's most productive agricultural regions.
The water comes through that pipe, goes into our tank, and then it comes back out, goes down into that tank, into the pump right here, and they pump it through our old existing well into the places in the house. We did run out completely. We had no water for a few days, and it was so hard. You either ran down to Pilot and took a shower, went to someone's house, or you just went and bought bottled water and did sponge baths.
The demand has been pretty high. Average, during peak drought during summer, we were getting over 25 calls a day with domestic well owners calling in saying their well has gone dry. Madera has been hit pretty hard, and so has Tulare County, but the entire valley has been pretty dry.
And so right now we're in the city of Madera, a real hot spot during this year's drought. You'll see really all throughout the Central Valley, which is nut trees. And there's nut trees for tens, maybe even hundreds of miles, stretching all throughout the basin of the Central Valley.
California's Central Valley is kind of the America's breadbasket of food, right? And it can cause some problems between the local population and the farmers, right? Agriculture consumes 80% of California's water, and that's a lot of water.
It's just getting worse instead of better. And I know the farmers need water because without the farming, we're not going to have food. But they go down so deep because they don't have the irrigation like they used to.
California's water supply comes from a lot of different sources. We get rain and snow in the winter. That provides runoff to our rivers and to our reservoirs. But we're also very dependent on what's called groundwater, that is, underground aquifers that often consist of water that's been there for thousands of years, that has been laid down by nature over time. Groundwater comes from rainfall that falls on the ground and then slowly seeps into these underground aquifers. And one of the big challenges with California groundwater today is that we're pumping it out much faster than nature naturally replenishes it. As groundwater levels drop, shallow groundwater wells dry up. Those wells tend to be the wells that supply our local communities or our local towns in the Central Valley of California, whereas agricultural interests are able to drill much deeper wells and continue to overdraft groundwater. And the consequences are really being felt by frontline communities, by poor farming communities, by disadvantaged agricultural communities that are seeing wells dry up faster.
A lot of the communities that we see are farm working communities who wake up 4 or 5 in the morning to go attend to these farms. A lot of these communities are really dependent on these farm owners to provide the resources in terms of paying jobs. So right now, if a household in the Central Valley well went dry, they would have to probably wait about 8 months until they're able to install a new well or to deepen their existing well. And the cost of those wells are ranging about $40,000 per each well. And so for a lot of these communities, that's more than they make in a year.